Hey, welcome to Dun Story Not Story.
Is that our new theme song?
Today.
That's our brand new theme song, Forever Today.
Forever Today.
Unless
we decide on another one today.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's probably our brand new theme song, Forever Today, but possibly not Forever Today.
Possibly.
Hey.
You're actually loud in the microphone for once. That's pretty interesting.
Well, you put it directly in front of my face.
Yeah, I tried something new. We missed a week, but let's not even dwell on that. Let's not
dwell on it, but let's talk about it more. We missed a week, and we are big jerks.
Big dumb jerks.
Big dumb jerks.
But great excuse. My wife is pregnant.
Yeah, we've decided to blame the baby.
Everywhere I go, I blame that you're pregnant.
Pretty much.
Speeding ticket. My wife is pregnant, and you're not even in the car.
Not even in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I can't think of one other example.
I can think of one.
Yeah.
I do all the grocery shopping, and when I go to the grocery store, I will often get a donut from the bakery section. Mm-hmm. Because they're only 65 cents and they're delicious. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I deserve it for grocery shopping. Yeah. But I will eat it while I'm grocery shopping. Mm-hmm. And then when I get up to the cash register, I have to tell the person I had a donut so they can charge me for it. Mm-hmm. But I don't actually still have the donut in my possession. And I just tell them I ate it because I'm pregnant. Oh. And they never get upset.
But they still charge you?
Well, yeah.
Oh.
It's only 65 cents.
You should say, I'm not paying because I'm pregnant.
I could just not tell them about it, I suppose.
Yeah. Hey, we do not advocate stealing here at Story Not Story.
No.
This is Story Not Story, not Steal, Yes, Steal.
Yeah.
If you want to listen to that, that's a different podcast.
Is that our other podcast?
Now it is.
That's our brand new podcast.
Steal, Yes, Steal. All about stealing and how we do it and you shouldn't.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's not a thing that exists. You can't listen to that podcast. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, and don't steal.
What are we doing today?
Oh, well, here's the thing. We are telling one story together.
Yeah. So we decided to try a different way of storytelling because in our last Patreon exclusive story, we do an exclusive story.
Also, all of the Patreon exclusive stories.
Oh, yeah. I guess it was. But the last one was especially good.
Yeah.
So once a month, patrons get an extra story
that we tell together.
Like we'll trade off, but and
they tend to be pretty darn good, and so we decided maybe we'll just do that all the time. Patreon will still get exclusive stories, but every episode will be us telling a story or two together.
Something like that. We're not 100% sure on the details, but we're going to try this. And today we're going to wrap up the
Tumblin Toby saga.
Yeah.
The Tumblin Toby saga. I really want to make this and maybe several of our stories into books at some point.
That'd be cool.
The Tumblin Toby would probably be like an anthology.
Yeah.
Probably be like really big.
Really huge. Like the Iliad and the Odyssey.
Well, those are just one book. But
is it not two separate things?
Well, yeah, those are two separate books. Right. Okay. Sure. I was just treating them as separate stories.
Well, listen.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Sure. I'm thinking more Game of Thrones, but like triple the length.
Wow.
Or Song of Ice and Fire.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very intense. I don't know that
Tumblin Toby deserves it. Definitely.
Deserves it.
It's going to be the next Harry Potter. It's going to be bigger than Harry Potter.
Is it?
Yeah.
Just like in physical size?
Yes, it's going to be really big. Like the print is going to be big, like posters. A page would be like a poster.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And anyway, we need to conclude this story. We don't need to, but we want to. We feel like this is the final until the next season. Yeah.
Of Tumbling Toby.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no. So it's never over. Really.
Nothing is ever over.
But we're going to try to conclude this part today.
Everything, yeah. Nothing lasts, but nothing ever ends.
That's
also
so poetic.
Sure.
Apparently.
Our previous installment of Tumblin Toby. Well,
let's just wrap up like right where we left off.
Yeah.
And if you want to go catch up on Tumblin Toby,
I believe it was the third episode of Tumblin Toby.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. We've done so many. We're going to put...
The third episode of Story Not Story, I think, was the first one.
I thought it was the...
Oh, no, the second episode. Tumbling Toby and the Cake Brigade.
Yeah.
And then we did the fourth episode.
Yeah.
And our dog is barking in her sleep right now in the background. I don't know if you can hear that. I don't know if you heard that, but that was... She's going... Second episode, fourth episode, and then way later we continued the story.
I think they all say Tumblin Toby in the title.
Yeah, they do. Tumblin Toby and the Tumbler Toss. Tumblin Toby and the Dank Dungeon.
That's the last one.
That was the last one.
Okay,
so basically it's a group of brigands that broke into a kingdom that's run by Queen Susan. Tumblin Toby has a special power. Well, he's clumsy and he falls, but when he falls, he has wherewithal, and it slows down time for him, so he can process information and figure things out, and it's basically like the Matrix, like Neo in the Matrix, if you've seen that. And he's got a team of brigands, and they wanted to get cake from
the kingdom,
from Queen Susan, and they went through various attempts, and she has a weather weapon that she can control the weather with.
Oh yeah, by the way, she has a weather weapon.
Yes, and when we last left the group, Tumblin Toby shot the weather weapon into the air, and they have a hovel. The brigands have a hovel way outside the kingdom, past the thorns. It's the kingdom of thorns.
Right.
And they've been trying to grow crops and they can't. But he shot the weather weapon, and
it made the soil fertile, and their crops grew.
Yes. Also, there's chemicals in the weather weapon that can cause people to do things. It's Queen Susan's weather weapon, and she's able to like make people passive, not violent. She could probably do the opposite, but I don't know. Probably. What else she could do with it.
I mean, what we heard in the last episode was that the manual for this weather weapon is huge and extensive.
Toby had to keep falling, so he hadn't enough time to read the manual.
And also...
And he spotted a girl in the kingdom. So they broke in, they got their cake, they got a guy that was held captive, one of the brigands, out of the kingdom, or out of his cell. And then Toby came across this weapon, made their crops grow, spotted this girl that he fancied, made everyone passive in the kingdom except for Queen Susan. She might be immune to this. And he went down, introduced himself to this girl. Turns out it's Queen Susan's daughter.
Oh, no.
The princess.
And that's where we left off. Queen Susan was accosting Toby.
Yes.
Being like, why are you talking to my daughter?
Yeah. I don't know if she said that verbatim, but maybe that's what she said.
Maybe she said, "Hark! Why art thine man, brigand, speaking at the young fair princess maiden, mine daughter?"
You woke up Mitzi when you said that, and she sighed. That's exactly what she said, though.
Yeah, that was a verbatim quote.
And in that length of time, too.
Yeah.
All the pauses and everything.
Well, she's very royal, so and she has all the time in the world, so she doesn't need to speak quickly.
Right. So, Toby just professed that, or just, did he say that he liked her? I don't remember. He professed something. He was interested.
He professed something.
He was interested in the princess, who turned out to be the princess. Queen Susan shows up, says, "What? Can you say that again exactly?"
I can, but I'm not going to.
Okay, cool. So. Good to know. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's he going to do?
Well,
all the brigands are there. All the citizens of the Kingdom of Thorns are all eating cake, and they're all eating various sausages and turkey legs.
Of course.
And having axe throwing contests. And it's basically like a Renaissance fair.
Mead.
And mead, yes.
You gotta have mead.
Sure, yep. But mostly cake, because that's what
that's kind of their shtick.
It's kind of their thing.
In the Kingdom of Thorns.
But the brigands are eating it too, and they're all getting along because they're all passive because of the weather weapon, and everything's fine. Queen Susan is not happy about this.
No, because a brigand is coming on to the princess.
Yeah.
And she does not have high opinions of Toby because he's been in her dungeon
Yes.
A couple times, causing problems.
Also, the Brigands are in her kingdom, and they're having a good time, and they're out, and everyone's accepting it.
Mm-hmm. Not great.
Yeah. So she grabs her daughter by the arm. Her daughter, whose name is...
Oh, yeah, she doesn't have a name yet.
Her daughter's name is...
Princess Shirley.
Princess Shirley Longhair.
Okay.
Princess Shirley Longhair. Susan...
Which is really weird because recently the princess got a haircut.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of just a chin-length bob.
Right.
But
well, yeah, long hair is actually... the reason she's called long hair is actually because she has hair that has length. So
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. She has hair.
Right. That has length to it.
Yes,
So,
like any hair that exists.
Those, yes, as well as those, yes. And so anyway, Princess Shirley Longhair, Susan Thorne, that's their last name.
Susan Thorne?
Yeah.
That's weird. So Queen Susan is Queen Susan Thorne?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm following.
Yeah. Susan
I don't know if
Thorne.
I like it, but I'm following.
Susan Thorne. Yeah. Initially, I thought, when I first heard the name, I thought Susan was another middle name, but it turns out you're right. It's Susan Thorne is the full last name.
Okay.
Anyway, Princess Shirley and Susan, she takes her back to her quarters, and the party's still going. And then she and Toby is heartbroken.
Of course.
He tries to follow. He tries to follow them and says, "But wait, but wait, but wait,
but wait."
But he doesn't know what to say, so he falls. So he can have some time to think about what to say, and he comes up with this beautiful poem.
Oh.
Yeah, like 5 stanzas.
I can't wait to hear it.
Oh, I'm saying the poem? Yeah, it's 5 stanzas. And then basically what he says is, I did not know you were a princess, but my love for you is still strong. I know I just met you, so my love is actually not so much that it's wrong. Nice. And
it's beautiful.
Will you accompany me to cake, which we will eat and be merry? I really enjoy your kingdom, and
I find your mom scary.
I find your mom scary. Yeah, and then he goes on to say, or think up a poem. Someday maybe we could get hitched, but I'm not gonna rush things too much. You are super pretty, and and other things, and so on and so forth and such.
Nice.
And then was that the 3rd stanza?
I think it was. Yeah.
And then he says, my Brigands and I have a farm. Our crops grow quite high. Would you like to go dine with me on Thursday when the evening is nigh?
Nice.
And we shall drink of the wine and eat of the corn, and maybe play a game of Settlers of Catan. Mm-hmm. I hope someday to make you happy. You as my woman and I as your man.
Aww.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Yeah, thank you.
That was good. I wasn't saying bravo to you. That was Tumblin Toby wrote that.
I know, and he said
you just recited.
He said thank you to himself as he fell because he was really proud of himself.
Yeah.
And then he fell, and everyone was laughing. Because he fell.
Yeah, sure.
But they were like, "It's cool, man. We're still passive."
That's true.
But they gathered around him because they thought he hurt himself, and so he couldn't get to Queen Susan, and I want to keep saying Queen Elizabeth. To Queen Susan and
Princess
Shirley. Yeah. So they go inside, and they go to Susan locks her in her quarters.
That's a real bummer for Shirley too, because here's the thing: she didn't do anything wrong. She's not the Brigands.
Yeah.
And she gets locked in her room.
But she's totally cool with it right now because she's very passive.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Because of the weather weapon. And Susan's like, "Hey, I know you didn't do anything wrong. Listen, I just need to do something real quick. Okay, well, and I'll let you back out. Cool?" She's like, "That's cool, whatever."
Sure.
Yeah. And
everybody's just kind of high.
Exactly.
On this weather weapon.
Exactly. Yeah. And so then she heads to the weather weapon. Queen Susan does. What does she do?
Oh, man. She runs up to the weather weapon and fiddles with some dials and changes some settings, tweaks some nozzles, flips some sprogs.
Diddles some doodads.
She diddles a couple of doodads as well.
Yeah?
Yeah. And then she presses the big red button.
The big red button?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it fires. And it's much more directed this time at the Brigands, but there are people around them too, and they get hit with it. Also, you want to know what happens?
What?
They go to sleep.
They go to sleep?
Yeah. They lay right down and go to sleep.
It's like the super passive weapon. Then.
Yeah. Well, because let's remember that Queen Susan is not a bad person. She's a benevolent ruler, but she needs to keep riffraff out of the kingdom, you know?
Wait, so it's directed. So is this like several little rain clouds that just hover over?
It's kind of more like a hose.
Oh, okay. But it comes directly from the weapon rather than like changing the weather.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It can work in many ways.
Okay.
The weather weapon.
Seems to me like it was more like instead of shooting up and changing the weather, it was more like a direct dose right at people.
Yes.
Yikes.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened.
Yikes.
Yeah. Well, because in this case, you know, it needs to be significantly more targeted. Once you put the chemicals into clouds, that they can like blow around and stuff.
True.
Yeah. You don't want everybody falling asleep. There's still a party going on.
True.
Yeah. So all the Brigands get hit and they lay down and go into a deep slumber. And then also some of the people that had gathered around Toby when he fell got hit. And the guards come out and they take the people who live in the kingdom who have fallen asleep and they put them in their beds and they tuck them in.
Sure.
You know, and they read them a bedtime story. Because it's that they're just nice like that. But then the Brigands they got to be dealt with.
Right.
So Queen Susan orders the guards to gather them up, and she doesn't even want them in her dungeon. She wants them gone. She wants them out of the kingdom. Yeah. Because they escaped the dungeon last time. She doesn't really know how it happened. But it's too much of a liability to have them within the Kingdom of Thorns. So she has them taken back, all the way back to their hovel, because she's done some recon. She knows where they live.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like, I mean, if I were her, I would probably want to put an end to it once and for all. If they're just taking them right back to the hovel, they're going to just come back. They're just going to probably break back in. Yeah,
well, she wants to put an end to it once and for all. And she has a plan for that.
Oh.
So.
Obviously.
Yeah. What'd she do?
So the guards take them back to the hovel.
Yes.
And then I mean, Queen Susan doesn't want to look like a villain. Right?
No.
So she's not going to just like outright murder them or something.
No.
Is Toby with them?
Yes.
Yeah, Toby is with the Brigands.
Yeah.
They're back at their hovel now.
They're all asleep.
Toby too?
Everybody got hit.
Of course, yes. Toby's asleep. They're all just slumbering away.
Just slumbering. It's like a slumber party.
Yeah. Except no party, just the slumber.
Well, they were at a party.
Yeah. True.
See?
True. Oh, well, the thing is, she thought she took all the brigands back.
But someone was in the bathroom when she fired the weapon.
Yes.
And didn't get hit.
That's right.
Who was it? I don't remember.
Our old friend...
Oh.
Stinky Jones.
Oh, of course it was. Wait, he wasn't in there.
What?
No, because remember, we have to go back. He was stuck on the catapult. He couldn't fire the catapult by himself. So he didn't get in.
He never got in?
He never got in.
We just left him out there?
Yeah, forever.
That's why they didn't send him. That's why he didn't go with them to the hovel. He was outside the castle, going to the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he figured out a different way to get inside the castle walls.
No, he's still outside the castle.
Oh. Yeah, you're right. I don't know why I said that. That was ridiculous.
He's still outside the castle. And Queen Susan thinks, well, all them brigands, they're going to... So Stinky Jones, he sees he hides behind the tree because he's behind the tree because he's going to the bathroom.
Right.
And the brigands, he sees them being carried back to their hovel.
Oh, yeah.
By the guards. And he's like, what? I can't believe I'm taken back to the...
Wow.
Yeah.
Guess he doesn't need to use consonants when he's just by himself.
Not really. Yeah. It was more of moaning. He was thinking it.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't really talk to yourself that. People don't really talk to themselves very often.
I talk to myself.
I do sometimes too, but it's more mumbly like that, probably.
Sure.
Anyway, so he decides he's gonna see what is going on. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
a good idea.
And so he decides to follow them sneakily. Mm-hmm. And on his way, there's still... See, they leave the castle, they turn left, okay, towards the hovel.
That's also the direction I thought it was.
Yeah. And they're going along the castle walls, and then they turn left again around the corner, or around the castle wall, and then they turn right down the path into the thorns. There is really no path through the thorns. They have special shin guards and footwear to get through the thorns.
Okay. They wouldn't just have like machetes and...
Well, they have those too, but...
Hack it away.
But they don't want to destroy the thorns because they do minimally, they'll destroy some thorns, but they...
Oh, yeah, but the guards, I mean,
protection.
It's part of, the defense of the castle.
Yeah. So they get to that point, which happens to also be right below the weather weapon. Mm-hmm. Stinky Jones, he's hiding. He's still hiding. A couple of guards, they see him, and they go over to him, and they're like, "Hey, who are you? What are you doing here? You look like you might be a brigand." He's like, "No, I'm not. Nope. I ain't no brigand. I'm a gatherer, for the kingdom of thorns." And they're like, "Well, yeah, we know it's the you didn't have to say the whole name, Kingdom of Thorns. We know. You could have just said the kingdom. We wouldn't." He's like, "Yeah, I know. I'm just very, meticulous." And
you have to be as a
gatherer. You have to be, as you know. And they're like, "Well, you shouldn't be out here at this hour. And don't you know we're having a party? You should have come to the party. We wouldn't have you gathering it. I just love my job. I just love it. I love to gather."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's being very convincing.
Yeah. And then they're like, "Well, what did you gather? What kind of things did you gather?" And he says, "Well, berries." And they're like, "Yeah, what else? That's fine. We have lots of berries. You should have been gathering what we need. What else did you get?"
Medicinal herbs.
And they're like, "Oh, really? Like which kind?" And
he's, well, obviously, well,
yeah, well, like Tylenol, and they're like, Tylenol? That doesn't grow here. That grows 12 clicks to the south. And he's like, uh-oh. And he says, hey, what's that? And the two guards look away. He grabs one of the guards' hammer, swings it. He's Stinky Jones one arm is what he's known as.
Yeah.
So he uses one of his arms.
One of his two arms.
Yeah, but he has one arm, so that's why he's known as Stinky Jones one arm.
Right.
And he grabs it, swings it, knocks them both out.
Whoa, with one swing?
With one swing.
Wow.
With one of his arms.
Wow.
Yeah. Quickly puts on the armor of one of them.
Good call.
Yes. And the other one, he just leaves there. He says, don't wake up. And then he walks. He walks over to the line and he starts walking with the other guards that are carrying brigands. And he gets underneath the weather weapon, and he suddenly hears Queen Susan on top of the castle wall.
Yeah.
By the weapon with a guard. And she says, all right, listen. Gregory.
Oh, yeah.
Who's one of the guards who says everything that he's doing.
Got to put the best man on the job.
Yeah, and she says, just do what I tell you. Just do what I told you. I'm out of here. Queen Susan walks away, and Gregory's like, okay, I guess I will load up this weather weapon with poison and direct it over the hovel.
Oh!
So that when the crops grow, they will be poisoned, and then they will eat them, and they will all die. And no one will know it was us. Hoo ha 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 ha. I'm laughing now. All right, getting ready to shoot the weapon. And he actually doesn't stop talking for a while.
Someone really needs to talk to Gregory about covert missions.
Yeah, they do.
Maybe he wasn't the best man for the job. True. So Gregory is up there. He's preparing to fire the weather weapon and launch poison all over the crops.
Yes.
And Stinky Jones is down on the ground, and he's like, "Aw, crap.
Oh, crap.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?"
Absolutely.
Because he's pretty conflicted. You know, he could try to get into the kingdom and get up there and stop the weapon from ever being fired, but he's not. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but he's not the greatest at getting into the Kingdom of Thorns.
Well, I mean, he just was always the last one to use the catapult.
Yeah, but how can he even use the catapult now? Because all the brigands are asleep, and none of the guards are going to help him use the catapult.
Yeah, but you see the guards' passivity from the weather weapon? It still hadn't worn off yet. It was kind of wearing off, but it hadn't worn off yet when they were leaving the castle. And they were like, the world's great. Everything's fine. We don't need to close the door to the castle.
That's a good point.
Right?
Yeah. He's like, did he hear them say that?
No.
Okay. So he's like, these guards seem really passive, though. And
well, he just goes...
I'm just going to walk around the perimeter here and just see if there's a way.
I have to. I got to save my brigand buds.
Gotta save the brigand buds. Gotta save them crops. Because I just want to be a farmer.
Yeah. Well, he's also kind of excited now that they have crops. He just learned that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, crap. We have crops.
Yeah.
Oh, no. They're gonna be poisoned.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He used to say, oh, crops, we have crap, when they didn't have crops. But now he says, oh, crap, we have crops. Yeah.
Oh, man. What a roller coaster of emotions for Stinky Jones.
I know.
So he creeps around the side of the castle, finds the open gate where the guards had just carried the brigands out. And he sneaks right on in. And he's dressed as a guard now, so he's not suspicious. He can just walk right in.
Yeah. Meanwhile... so the guard carrying Tumblin Toby he's walking, carrying him, and he trips.
He does.
He trips over the guard that was the guards that were knocked out. Yeah.
Oh no.
And Tumbling Toby starts falling.
Uh-huh.
Even while unconscious, it slows down time for Tumbling Toby. Enough time that the sleep poison wears off. In his brain.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So by the time Tumbling Toby hits the ground, he's waking up, and the jolt from hitting the ground finishes the job. He's awake. But he knows enough to know, like, he senses the situation pretty quickly, and he's like, I need to not let them know that I'm awake right now.
Absolutely.
So he keeps his eyes closed, tries to stay still.
Yes, he does. And so the brigand that fell, he also hit his head on the guard's weapon, and he got knocked out.
Oh.
Yeah.
But there's other guards around.
There are other guards.
Do they see this happen? Or are they?
No, Toby's kind of far out. He's like at the end of the line.
I see.
And they continue carrying other guards along the way. See, this guard that was carrying Tumbling Toby, he was kind of dumb, off the beaten path a little bit.
Sure.
So Toby, he lays there for a little while. The guards leave. He gets up. And he thinks, I'm in love. Would I, if I'm truly in love, would I just go home?
No.
No way.
No way.
I would chase after my life. I wrote a poem.
I have to read it to her.
I have to read it to her from my thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how to write.
Yeah.
But I have to read it to her.
So he goes towards the castle, and he tries to go in the castle.
Right. Does he think to steal one of the other guards' uniforms to sneak back in?
Unfortunately, no, he doesn't.
Toby.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. But then he does. So then he goes back and he grabs it, and
okay.
he puts a guard uniform on, and then he goes.
Okay,
back
that's
into
good.
The castle.
That's a good idea. Phew.
Yeah. So then soon after Stinky makes his way into the castle from the front.
Sure.
Toby, in a guard uniform, clank, 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 walks into the front. And the festival's going on. Everyone's still having a good time. Mm-hmm. But it's getting later now, and they're getting a little tired. Or people are getting tired, right?
Sure.
Toby starts making his way towards the tower where he knows that Queen Susan took her daughter.
Yeah.
Shirley, she's... Oh, okay, I'm not going to make that pun. I'm not going to make that pun.
Surely she's in this tower.
Yes. Oh.
No.
So, he goes up to the tower. He bumps into a guard. And at the same time that Stinky bumps into a guard.
Oh, no. Are they the guard that each other bumps into?
They turn and look at each other. They're wearing helmets, so they don't know, and they fight. Yeah. And they start rolling around on the ground. Everyone starts looking, gathers around and watches the fight, and
everyone must be very confused why these two guards that both work in the Kingdom of Thorns are fighting one another.
Right. But as Toby falls from getting hit by the guard, he gets an idea. And he lands and he says, "He's an imposter." And then the other guard says, "No, he's the imposter." And then they continue fighting. And then Toby manages to get Stinky's helmet off, and he's like, he knows that's Stink. That's a guy I know. Mm-hmm. That's great. Mm-hmm. And Stinky and everyone gasps, "It's a brigand!" And Toby's like, yes, Yes, this is a brigand.
I discovered a brigand.
I totally discovered a brigand.
Because it's my job as a guard.
It's totally my job. I should stop saying totally. I'm sorry. And so he grabs Stinky and he drags him into the tower. And Stinky is like, stop it. You'll never take me alive. No. And he starts hitting Toby on the head. Mm-hmm. And Toby's like, no, stop it. Stop it. Stop. I'm Toby. It's Toby. It's me. It's Toby.
Oh, yeah.
And Stinky's like, Toby? My cousin? No. Toby the Brigand. Oh, I also have a cousin named Toby. He's like, no. Toby the Brigand. Oh, Toby, the guy who falls a lot. I know you from all the time.
From all the time.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, put your helmet back on. Here. So he puts the helmet back on. So you're here to stop the weather weapon? You're here to stop Queen Susan from killing all the brigands too? And he's like, what? Queen Susan's gonna kill the brigands?
Oh my gosh.
How are we gonna wrap this up?
Let's see. And Toby's like, no, I wasn't here to help with that. I was here because I'm in love with the princess and I have to find her and read her my 5-stanza poem. It's really, really good. Do you want me to read it for you? And Stinky Jones is like, dude, we do not have time for that. Didn't you just hear me tell you about the poison and killing the brigands?
Toby's not good with time because his time is always messed up.
Yeah, it's a real problem.
He feels like he has lots of time all the time.
Yeah. And Toby is like, oh, crap. I kind of feel like I should help you stop the poisoning now. Oh, gosh. But I love her so much, even though I don't know her. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure her name's Shirley, though.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. But he's like, you know what? You brigands have been with me for a really long time. And you pulled thorns out of my butt places. Yeah,
exactly.
And so I'm going to come with you, Stinky Jones.
That's not like a random phrase. That actually happened in a previous episode of Tumbling Toby, in case you weren't listening. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you could make it a regular phrase if you want. Man, you pulled thorns out of my butt places. Yeah. Yeah,
that could be like if someone really helps you out of like a tricky situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You totally pulled thorns out of my butt places, bro. Yeah.
So Toby is like, you know what? I can't turn my back on my friends.
Before Bridegands.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what they say.
That's what he says. Yep.
Yeah.
So they take off together up the tower to get to the weather weapon to stop Gregory from firing it at the hovel and the brigands. Mm-hmm. And in the meantime, Queen Susan is like, well, those pesky brigands are gone. I guess I can let Princess Shirley out of her chambers now. Sure. Mm-hmm. So that she can, go down and enjoy the end of the evening festivities.
Yep.
So she lets her out, and Queen Shirley is making her way down through the castle halls and everything when she hears a commotion. And she's like, she's a curious gal. Mm-hmm. So she is like, I guess I could go back out to this festival, or I could go see what this commotion's all about.
I'm so curious.
Mm-hmm. That's what she says. I'm so curious. Mm-hmm. She spent some time with Gregory's son.
So she says things out loud.
She pretty much...
Gregory's son, or just Gregory?
No, Gregory had a son who was also a guard.
True.
Why would she be hanging out with Gregory?
I know.
From totally different generations.
That's true.
Yeah. So anyway...
So Queen Susan's younger.
What?
Is that what you're saying? Oh, no, you're talking about Shirley. Yes, Shirley, yes.
Shirley.
Right.
Yeah. So Shirley takes off following this commotion, which just so happens to be Toby and Stinky Jones clambering up the tower.
Yep.
And Toby and Stinky Jones, they get to the top. Gregory is loading the poison into the weather weapon and diddling doodads.
Yeah.
Tweaking knobs.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
In flipping
fandangles.
Yep, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And he gets all the settings just right. And just as he's about to push the big red button, Tumblin Toby says, "Hey, man, stop."
And here's what happens. He pushes the button anyway. And it shoots up in the air, starts raining down on the hovel where the brigands are sleeping onto their crops.
That is not what I was going to have happen, but this is amazing.
Yeah. Goes down onto their crops. So now their crops are getting poisoned for when they eat them.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, you need to tell more of this story because I was not going to have that happen, so I don't know where this is going.
Well, here's the thing. Gregory, obviously, he says things out loud all the time, right? He says things as he does them.
Uh-huh.
Stinky heard him all the way down at the bottom of the castle wall.
Uh-huh.
He's got a loud voice. He's got a very loud voice.
It carries.
It carries a lot.
Yeah.
And Toby realizes this. It's loud, but he's never even heard him yell. He doesn't know. It could get even louder.
Uh-huh.
And Toby's like, hey, Gregory, how did you feel when you saw the first Star Wars prequel? Or have you seen the Star Wars prequels? And he's like, yeah, didn't like them at all. But do you remember that part in the third one when Darth Vader yells no? Do you remember that?
Uh-huh.
And he's like, yeah, I do. I can do a great impression of
Gregory says this?
Yeah,
uh-huh.
Yeah. And he's like, all right, go for it. And he yells, no! And then he wakes up all of the brigands in their hovel.
Whoa!
Yeah.
And what happens?
Well,
I'm so confused.
See, I'm assuming Stinky explained to Toby the situation over there at the hovel before all this. So anyway,
about the crops being poisoned? Or?
Yeah, and them all being asleep and everything.
Well, Toby was asleep, so
true.
Wouldn't he know?
Kind of, I suppose.
Okay.
Anyway, and then he says, "So what are you doing here? What's the big deal? What's going on, buddy? Why?" He's like, "I'm not going to tell you that we shot poison in the air." He's yelling this. Mm-hmm. We shot poison in the air into the crops, and so that the brigands will eat them and die. The whole kingdom hears.
Oh no!
Hears him say this, and Speedy Spalding, one of the kingdom citizens, you were rolling your eyes at me, decides this is terrible, this is inhumane, and he runs out of the castle and he runs to the brigands' hovel, and he tells them,
"Don't eat the crops.
Don't eat the crops." And they're like, "Oh man, I'm hungry." Like, "Come with us, we'll get you cake." And so they all come back to the castle. Queen Susan flipping out. She is flipping out.
Yeah, it's not a great situation for her.
Yeah. And so she comes over to Toby with her own little mobile weather weapon, which also can just be a regular weapon. It doesn't have to change weather. It can shoot directly at people, we've established. And she's going to shoot it. She sets the setting to death, and she's going to shoot it at Toby.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then Shirley jumps in front of Toby and says, "Mom!" And Toby's like, "Well, that was a little whiny, but she's still pretty." Yeah. And Queen Susan's like, "What?" What? And
Shirley's like, "Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't shoot him."
Queen Susan's like, "But our kingdom is going to be ruined. Brigands are going to be coming. We can't be friendly with brigands. You know how they are." And she's like, I know that Toby's kind of cute." And Toby's like, "I'm more than cute. I have a poem." and he recites the whole poem that I'm not going to recite again.
Sure, that's fine.
Yeah. And as he's reciting it, Gregory leans on the weather weapon.
Oh.
And shoots sentimentality into the sky, and it rains down on everyone. And people start to cry. And it's the one setting that Susan did not take the immunity serum for, because she didn't want to lose her sentimentality, even though it seemed like she was about to.
Right.
And but the raining down reminded her, and also forced her to be sentimental. And she cries as Toby recites his poem, and everyone's crying, and it's just really sappy. It's really, really sappy.
Yeah, it's
even
gross.
Though his poem isn't that good.
It was amazing.
Oh, okay. It was amazing, and everyone thinks it's good, and they all rejoice, and they're happy. And Susan says, "All right, I won't kill you this time." Freeze frame.
That's beautiful.
Flash forward to a week later, and Toby and Shirley are having dinner. They're having corn.
When the night was nigh?
When the night was nigh at the hovel.
Where did they get the corn? Didn't it all get poisoned?
Well, they grew more crops because they have a weather weapon. They can grow crops like crazy now.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're utilizing Queen Susan's weather weapon. Everyone's working together.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah. And Stinky realized he loves being a guard, and that's his job now at the castle.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah. Pulled himself up by his bootstraps.
Yeah. Unlike pulling himself up by a catapult.
Sure, which he's not very good at.
No, but that's his job. He's the catapult shooter for defense around the castle.
So next time he needs to use a catapult, he'll be better at it because now he's got training.
Right.
All right.
And any other loose ends we haven't thought of are all wrapped up as well.
All of them are wrapped right up.
Yeah.
And
Toby and Shirley they're early stages of their relationship, but they're trying to make it work.
Yeah, we're not going to say they live happily ever after.
Who knows? But they have a lot of crops and a nice little hovel that they share with 19 other brigands. But
yeah.
And she's also got that castle right nearby that they can go to.
Oh, absolutely.
But they're having a good time.
That's good. Mm-hmm. Well, wonderful. What should we call the final installment? Tumblin Toby and the
Tumblin Toby and the See, I feel like this should be important because it's the final one. So
right.
I'm thinking about it harder. Maybe I shouldn't.
Don't think about it harder. Tumblin Toby and the Happily Ever After?
That's a spoiler.
Oh.
Tumblin Toby and the poem. Tumblin Toby and the poem and the... Tumblin Toby and the poem and the...
Almost Dead Brigands.
Almost... That's a spoiler, too.
Oh, Nate. Ugh. Tumblin Toby.
And the Bridegands.
No.
Tumblin Toby and Bridegands before Brigands before Bridegands. No.
Okay.
Yeah?
I'm into that.
Tumblin Toby and Brigands before Bridegands.
Yeah, it's very silly, but it's good.
I love it.
I love it. Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, awesome. That's the end of the Tumblin Toby saga.
That is the end of the Tumblin Toby saga.
For now.
Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, boy. Awesome. Well, we will be back with another episode soon, we hope.
Yes, we're a baby is going to happen.
A baby is going to happen. We don't know when, but it could be anytime.
Could be anytime.
It could be several weeks from now also.
We will be having a guest storytelling duo sometime in November.
At some point, yeah. Mm-hmm. So keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, we will still be recording episodes until the baby gets here, and we're going to try to get some pre-recorded episodes to put out after the baby is here. So if you have suggestions for stories that you would like to hear us tell,
email us at storynotstorypodcast@gmail.com, or you could if you support us on Patreon. That's the best way to more likely to use your suggestion if you go to patreon.com/storynotstory and support us there.
That's very true. We've got some great perks on our Patreon, including the mic test recordings that we do before we start recording the episode. Those go out every week.
And they're ridiculous.
And like I said, an extra story.
Once a month, an extra exclusive story.
Exclusive.
Yep.
And you can also tweet at us. We're on Twitter at storiesinbed.
Yep.
Facebook.com/storynotstory. Instagram, which we don't really do a whole lot with, but you can follow us there. Story Not Story Podcast.
Yep.
And you can find all of this on our website, which is storynotstorypodcast.com. That was wonderful. It was like we planned that.
I know. And now for the closing song of our show. You just listen to Story
Not Story.
Yeehaw!
Zap. Pow. Boom.
Just like we planned.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for listening.
You
might have been watching the audio bar going.
You could have been. That would be a waste of time.
You should have been looking at more interesting things.
The whole point of a podcast is that you can look at stuff.
I think this episode ended up being longer than ones where we do 2 stories.
Oh boy.
But it was a good one. I enjoyed it.
All right.
Ready?
Well, yeah.
Good night.
Good night.